Hey, what's going on, guys? How's it going? Do you guys want to hear something funny? I tried recording this twice already, but the first time it ended up being an hour and 10 minutes, and then the second time it ended up being 45 minutes, but for some reason OBS had changed my microphone to default, so the video was nothing. It was just nothing. No audio whatsoever. So anyway, today I'm going to do a Tekken 8 beta review. We recently played the Tekken 8 beta on PC, or if you're on console, you played it on there. Although I know that some of you had trouble getting codes again, it's unfortunate, but you know, scalpers exist, they are a thing, so yeah, that's unfortunate. But yeah, played the Tekken 8 beta on PC, it was super fun. A lot to talk about today, I'm going to try and cover everything. But first off, only 5% of you guys are subscribed, so you know what, do me a favor. Subscribe and like if you like the video. Trying to hit 1k subs so I can get paid for the videos that I'm making. So if you feel like helping out, that would be really appreciated. And also bear in mind, I will miss out some things. I'm not going to get everything right. There'll be some things that I miss, so please feel free to let me know in the comments if there are things that I got wrong or, you know, slightly off on. But yeah, and also try and keep it civil in the comments. It's okay to disagree, but try and keep it civil. But yeah, do let me know with things that I missed out. So we're going to start off with, I've written a list, okay? So we're going to start off with the positives and then move to the negatives after, and then I'll give my general thoughts at the end. But starting off with the positives, we've got the gameplay, unique intro and outro poses. We've got Kazuya and Jun, Kazuya and Jin, Jin and Jun, Asuka and Lily, Paul and Law. There's loads, and that's really good. I think everyone agrees that's a really good addition to the game. We already have some unique intro and outro poses in Tekken 7, but not as many as in this game. And yeah, the more the merrier. The more unique intro and outro poses, everybody's happy. Rage arts are cool. They're not too long, which is super important, I think. The longer you spend not playing the game and watching your health bar deplete, I think can make people feel a little frustrated and add to some salt. So rage arts being really cool to look at and not too long is a really positive thing. Character move animations, in particular like heat engager animations and heat animations, and you get like mini cutscenes as well with some of the characters. Like not mini cutscenes, just they're like grabs, but they're not grabs. Like Paul has his amplified demo man, right, where he goes, "I'll kick your ass," that sort of thing. I think they're really cool, and they're not too long again, which is super important. But in general, the character move animations are really cool. I know in a lot of fighters, some of the animations when they link together in combos can look a bit janky, but in Tekken 7, it's super smooth and it all looks very fluid, so that's really good. Chip damage and recoverable health is a really cool concept, I think, and it's really cool in practice. I really enjoyed the change of gameplay from Tekken 7 where there are lots of mind games to do with chip damage and recoverable health, especially with Rage Art. Maybe you recover too much health with Rage Art, maybe that'll have to be tweaked a little bit, but in general, I'm actually really liking chip damage and recoverable health. It kind of complements the heat system. I think if you had heat system but you couldn't recover any health, I don't think it would work as well as it does in the game right now. So I'm actually happy with chip damage and recoverable health. But I know this is a contentious topic, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But yeah, it adds to a mind game at the end of the rounds, which I really like. You know, like the timer's going down. You haven't used your heat yet, but you've got a tiny bit of health. Your opponent has more health than you. Time to use your heat and try and get some of that health back. It makes for some really cool, intense end-of-round situations, which I think is really cool. And from a spectator's point of view, that's really cool to watch as well. It makes it more exciting rather than, you know, poking away. Instant while running is easier. I think this is good for more accessibility for people who don't necessarily have the best execution. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you get more damage for the legacy way of doing instant while runnings, right? So do let me know if I got that wrong, because I'm not actually sure. I do have mixed feelings about it. Maybe it needs tuning. The instant while running, because King, instant shining wizards could be a problem, and also Claudio in heat is kind of crazy because it's so easy to do the instant while running that when he's in heat he has while running 2, which does a ton of chip damage. If he's in starburst and you've got your back to the wall, Claudio actually destroys your health bar without you actually taking any hits. It's just, you know, chip damage a lot of the time. While running 2, if he's got starburst as well and he's in heat, you know, he's got a million 50-50s. He's got while running 2, he's got back 1, he's got shoe shine or whatever that move is called, where he does a down 2-1, I think it is. So it might need tuning, the instant while running, but in general I think it's cool. The accessibility in the game is actually good for introducing new players to the game, so I'm all for that, along with the special style or whatever that thing is called, where you toggle one button and then you can do, you know, electrics, but you know, not a good electric, not a proper electric. The heat system, I talked about this a little bit, but I think it adds another layer to the game, which is really cool. A lot of different mind games, especially at the end of the round, which I've talked about already. But it also makes the game, in my opinion, ultra defensive and offensive. Because when you have two players that understand their own heat system and understand their opponent's heat system, it can kind of be like they're both kind of scared to go in. And it makes for some really intense matches where you play more footsies than in Tekken 7 almost. I mean, that's the kind of games that I was having sometimes in Tekken 8. And because of the buffed sidesteps, it also makes it ultra defensive in that way. You sidestep a move, no one wants to press because they don't want to get sidestepped and launch for like massive damage, because the combos do so much damage. The heat system is good. I actually really like the heat system. I'm also liking the heat dash. I think it's a super fun pressure tool. Everybody now has a 50-50. I also have mixed feelings about that. You know, you don't want a character's identity to get squashed by just adding 50-50s to every single character. It's like when they gave everybody good Oki. I understand people might be a bit upset because they believe that giving everyone 50-50s is kind of taken away from the identity of the character, because you want some characters to have defined strengths and defined weaknesses, right? But in general, I actually liking the heat system, and it also makes for some cool combos as well, so I'm really liking that. Sidesteps are really good in this game. I really like this change. In Tekken 7, some characters, it's basically not an option to sidestep. Like with Gigas, Kuma, Panda, Marduk doesn't have a great sidestep either. It also emphasizes the 3D aspect of the game. You know, it's a 3D game. Why not emphasize that aspect of the game? Make it more of a viable and useful option. So I really like sidesteps being buffed. I think everyone can agree that's a really good change. Grabs. This is where things get interesting. Grabs now counter hit you, and now you have a tiny window to break the grab when you get counter hit with the grab. This is really cool. I like this. I think in Tekken 7, you don't see enough grabs, especially in high level tournament play and competitive play. You don't see grabs like at all. They're only really used to keep your opponent in check, keep them sharp, you know, keep them breaking those throws. So I actually like that they added counter hit throws in this game. The other thing though is that you can use grabs as a punishment tool now. So I like this change, but I'm a bit worried. The positives of punish grabs is, let's say you're in a situation, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're in a situation on Ortiz Farm, you know, the Azucena stage with the alpacas. You've broken the balcony, now you're on the second section of the stage where you can break the floor, right? Someone does a minus 15 frame move, you do a grab that breaks the floor, and then you can do your combo, get it to the wall, do the wall explosion thing that's on that stage, and then bound and then finish your combo. I think it just adds more creative freedom to the way that players might want to play the game using punish grabs. So I actually like this. There is a problem though with King's giant swing. It's 10 frames startup, so how is that going to work? And also Law's forward 3+4 launching punishes, launching throws as a punish, I think might have to be taken out. And also King's giant swing as a 10 frame punish. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. He's going to be incredibly broken if they keep the punish as it is. I mean, I don't know if you can actually use King's giant swing as the 10 frame punish, but I'm assuming you can if punish grabs exist. But let me know if any of you guys have actually seen King use a giant swing as a 10 frame punish, because I'm interested to know. Combos look really cool, they're really fun, and the heat dash extension is really cool. If you're in heat and then you launch them, you can do a heat dash. They nerfed the way you could use heat in combos before. But with the heat dash extension, if you're already in heat, you can do a heat dash in the middle of the combo and get like a second bound, which is really cool. I also like the bound on the wall. I think that's really cool. If you wall splat somebody, you can bound them on the wall again and then finish your wall combo. That looks really cool. I like that. So yeah, combos are really fun to do, and they also look really cool with the new character animations. So that's a positive in my opinion. Customization. Now, customization in this game is a million times better than Tekken 7. Customization in this game, because of the graphics and how good everybody looks, like the character models, when you actually put like good customization on a character, it looks really, really fucking cool. Kazuya's and Jin's like pants, so they have it in the presets, mind. We aren't even able to customize our characters properly yet. We're only able to use presets in the beta. They're already looking really cool. Law's got some drippy like 60s esque outfit, which just looks really cool. Brian's looking like fucking Morpheus out of the Matrix, or the Punisher. You could say he looks like the Punisher with a trench coat. He looks really cool. So yeah, I'm really liking the customization, and I'm also excited to see what kind of customizations players come up with when we actually get the full ability to customize our characters the way we want. The stages look great. I don't think I have any complaints of the stages. The addition of the wall explosion is really cool. It's super fun for like creative expression, I think, with combos. You can do some really creative stuff with the different stages and the way that they work. Like a balcony break stage and the wall explosion mechanic, but only on the floor of that stage, like in the hangar. And also the same with Orta's Farm, where you get a balcony break and then a floor break, and then on the wall in that stage you get the exploding canister as well. So I'm really liking the stages. I think they're all pretty unique. Even Sanctum has a really unique thing where they have like a hard wall break, where you have to hit them against the wall multiple times before the wall actually breaks. That's actually really cool. I actually like that. We have practice mode in warm-up, finally. So this I think everybody wanted. I don't know why it was never added in Tekken 7 this whole time that Tekken 7's been out. Practice mode in warm-up cuts out so much wasted time. In Tekken 7, what you'd have to do is, let's say you played a set against like a character you don't see very often, like Kuma or Eddie or someone like that. You find out that a string they're doing is quite complicated and you don't know how to deal with it. So you want to lab it, right? So what you have to do is, after the match, you have to back out into the main menu, go into practice mode, find the string in the move list, then back out into the main menu and go back into the ranked warm-up section before you even find a match. The practice mode being in warm-up cuts out so much wasted time, and I think everyone can agree. It was a tiny thing that was super necessary, but it cuts out so much wasted time, so a massive positive, a massive positive. Connection is good. The netcode is actually pretty good. I think there's a misconception about connections. So against people with good PCs, the connection for me was at least playable at about, 200 milliseconds ping, which is really good. You can't do that in Tekken 7, but you can in this game. It's actually really good. I think the issue with the connections is people with bad PCs, but I'll get onto that in the negative section. Generally, the connection is very good. I think the netcode is actually very good. Playing against people in the lobby system was good. It wasn't stuttering unless they had a bad PC, but we'll get onto that. In general, it was really good connections with people. Loading screens were also very fast, and I'll put this in connections, but I don't know where to put it on the list. Loading screens are very fast and very smooth, and switching between the lobbies was very smooth as well, almost instantaneous. You could go from a European server in the lobby to a Japanese server in the lobby. It was basically instantaneous. The visuals in this game so far are looking really good. The character models themselves look really clean, and also they tuned down a lot of the visual clutter that we had in the closed network test. So before, in the closed network test, you could put your effects setting down onto low, but there was still so much visual clutter, especially with characters like Lars, where the floor of the stage would get thrown up in the air and you had so many effects going on at once. There was too much. I think they've gone this time with the approach less is more. It looks super clean. So they actually look better than before with less effects going on the screen. It makes it easier to play. And also, a side note is it's better for streaming. So before, with the amount of visual clutter we had, because Twitch caps your bitrate at 6,000 to 8,000 on 1080 if you're streaming at 1080p, the cap was too low. So even if you had it at 8K, then the streamers still looked like shit. There was just too much going on. So that's a massive plus, them cutting down on the visual clutter, in my opinion. And the last thing I'll talk about in the positives is the Ghost AI system. I think this is a really innovative feature to have in the game, and it really makes practicing against different types of players much easier and quicker to learn certain things, and a more efficient way of learning. There are issues with the Ghost AI system, which we'll get onto in the negatives. Very defined issues. In general, I think it's a really cool feature that they've added, and with some improvements could be game changing. Right, now we're at the part where we go on to the negatives. And most of these negatives are actually in the gameplay, so I'm going to go through the gameplay ones quite quickly, I think, so that this video is not an hour long. Some of these I'm going to fly through very quickly, because they're kind of easy to understand and self-explanatory. Rage arts should be more than -15 on block. I think everyone can agree on that. The block stun for the rage art is way too long, and punishing with electric if you're playing Kazuya, or Jin if you want to use electric with Jin, or even jet upper with Brian. I was fucking up jet uppers with Brian on rage art punishes. The block stun is just too long. I think rage art should be at least -20 in my opinion, so that you can get a guaranteed launch. Hitboxes, some of the hitboxes are very janky. I think also, side note, some of these are going to be bugs that are definitely going to get fixed. But yeah, the hitboxes were kind of janky. Sometimes I'll do a down forward 2, and against a character that, like King, for example, he should not be crushing a down forward 2, doing basically any of his moves, really. So yeah, hitboxes were a little janky. Let me know if you guys felt that as well. And also the sidewalls are really bad for hitboxes. Sometimes the sidewalls would cause the camera to switch when they shouldn't have switched. You get re-wall splats in really weird situations. Yeah, I don't think the sidewalls are very good in this game. Not yet, anyway. With some improvements, they could obviously make the sidewalls a lot better and a lot less kind of RNG when you're comboing somebody, like, against the sidewall. We'll have to wait and see when the game fully releases, but at the moment, the sidewalls weren't very good. There was also a problem with, I don't know how, I'm going to try and explain this. So, this is what happened when I was playing Brian, okay? I would do a combo, I'd get them to the wall, and then as Oki, I would do back 4. Maybe back 4 isn't the best Oki, maybe I should have done taunt back 4, but anyway, you do back 4, jet upper. But after I do the jet upper sends them so high in the air that my forward 4 would literally go under characters. And not like small characters or whatever. It would just go under characters. And a friend of mine also had the same situation, but laterally, like horizontally. So with Claudio, he would do a combo, get them to the wall, and now he has Starburst after his combo, so he's initiating his 50-50, right? So he does forward 1+2, 1+2, and for some reason, it would send them flying across the wall. So I think what is happening is the opponent that you've just comboed to the wall and done your wall combo has somehow retained all the momentum of the combo you just did. So you know, more hits you do in Tekken when you float somebody, the further they are pushed away, they get more momentum the more hits you get on them while you're comboing them. So I think what's happening is they're retaining all that momentum, and whichever way you hit them again when they get back up, they retain all that momentum and just get sent flying in whichever direction you actually hit them. So in Brian's case, he gets sent up the wall, and in Claudio's case, they would get sent across the wall. I think it's a bug. Well, I'm sure it's a bug. They'll probably fix that. But yeah, that was a problem. I noticed that a few times. The 3-button okay, tongue twister. The 3-button bind is broken. Taunts would always get grabs with me, with Brian. For some reason, if I did a backdash and then the 3-button bind, I'm just going to call it the taunt button. So if I did a backdash and then press the taunt button, or a sidestep and then press the taunt button, or a forward dash and then press the taunt button, I would always get a grab with Brian. I don't know why. I'd always have to press a direction on the D-pad and then wait like a full second and then do the 3-button bind and then do the 3-button bind to actually get the taunt. I don't know whether it's a problem related to how easy it is to do instant while runnings, where it's buffering the input you last did for too long, so you end up getting forward 3+4+1 or back 3+4+1. But yeah, it's broken at the moment, so I hope they fix that. Although, to be honest, Brian shouldn't really have a 3-button bind. To be honest, Brian shouldn't have a 3-button bind. A 3-button bind. Oh my god, dude. A 3-button bind for his taunt. Fuck me, dude. That is a real tongue twister. Right, next we have backdashes. They need to be buffed again. They were buffed a little bit, but I feel like Kazuya's and King's weren't changed at all. Kazuya's is really bad, King's is really bad. But certain characters have fine backdashes, like Law and Feng. They have backdashes that are fine. And considering there are more knowledge checks with the heat system, not being able to back out of pressure, I think is a big problem. You should be able to move across the stage with ease, in my opinion. And backdashes need to be a lot stronger than they are right now. Jailing mid-high strings and jailing mid-mid strings and jailing high-high strings. Adding more of these into the game, in my opinion, is kind of adding knowledge checks for no reason whatsoever. They don't really add anything to the game apart from knowledge checking your opponent. And there are a lot of exceptions to the rule already, with some moves being able to jail anyway. So adding more of these jailing mid-high strings and high-high strings, I just don't think is necessary. That's just my opinion. Let me know if you disagree in the comments. Balancing. Claudio, Jin, Brian, Feng, Jack, and June need balancing, in my opinion. They are too strong. Jin is actually more boring, in my opinion, because forward 4 combo is very easy to do. And also down 2 is kind of a busted move. Not even being launch punishable, I think, is kind of a joke, to be honest. So yeah, I hope they fix Jin. Claudio needs balancing because the instant while runnings have basically buffed him. where his while running 2 is just incredibly strong now, considering it's a 13 frame startup. I think Claudio is kind of busted. I actually think Brian is a little too strong. I love Brian, but if I'm going to be unbiased, he needs to be nerfed a little bit. And Feng is actually kind of busted as well. I didn't play Jun or Jack, so I can't really speak to them too much. Just the general vibe on the community is that they are too strong right now. And I have seen little things here and there of Jun being absolutely busted. So more balancing needs to be done. I'm sure they'll do it, but I'm putting it in here because it was a problem in the beta. Power crushes, I actually think they go through too fast. And what I mean by that is, you know, in Tekken 7, if somebody does a rage art, let's say I'm using Brian, somebody does a rage art, and I'm doing down forward 1 1 1 1, you'd probably get all of those ones in there before the rage art would actually go through. But in this game, I actually know this scenario happened in Tekken 8 as well. Maybe you only get 1 or 2 at the most in before a power crush would actually go through. I think they're too strong. Considering that the heat system activation is a power crush as well, I think power crushes in general are a little too strong, and just tuning them to bring them down in line with other tools in the game, I think would be a good thing that I think a lot of people would welcome. Actually, I think they're too strong at the moment. Yeah, tuning them down would be a good thing in my opinion. Some characters need chip adjusted. Claudio gets too much health back and does too much chip damage in my opinion, considering he's very pressure heavy. And characters like Kazuya get very little health back because of the way that he's played. Yes, he can initiate his vortex and get some health back, but with characters like Law, Feng, Claudio, they get in too much chip damage and too much health back. They need tuned down in my opinion. Maybe adjust the chip according to character strengths. So maybe characters like Claudio and Law do less chip damage and get less recoverable health versus characters like Kazuya. But yeah, I think chip needs to be adjusted in those ways, in my opinion. The timer, this is going to be controversial, I think, but the timer, I think, actually needs to be longer. Because of chip damage and recoverable health, your health bar like fluctuates quite a lot during the round, and I actually think it leads to much longer rounds. So most of the time when I was playing, the timer would basically go down to under 10 seconds, like nearly every round. Maybe raise the timer to up to 90 seconds. It's just a suggestion. Let me know if you guys completely disagree. But yeah, I think the timer needs to be slightly longer, honestly. The heat system. Activating the heat as a power crush, I think that is cool, but it's too strong. I think the power crush, if it acts like it does in Tekken 7, where you can get multiple hits in before the power crush goes through, would make it more balanced. And I think the way this would be more balanced is not only that you get more hits in, but if you do a string that includes a low, you can hit them out of it. At the moment, you can't actually low counter hit heat activation. I did this with Jin's down 2. What do you know? It's Jin's down 2. I did actually counter hit somebody activating heat with Jin's down 2 and it launched them. So there is that, which is a good thing in my opinion. But I think the power crushes are too good right now. And keeping the heat activation as a power crush would be fine, as long as they revert the power crush properties to the way it is in Tekken 7, where it doesn't just go through everything after like one hit. Grabs, punish grabs are too strong at the moment, especially launching grabs and King's Giant Swing. I don't actually know about King's Giant Swing, whether it does punish minus 10 frame moves, but if that is the case, that is objectively broken. That is broken. So I hope that they adjust that. I think punish grabs are actually a good addition to the game. I don't think you should be able to use a launching grab as a punish, or King's Giant Swing, and certain exceptions that do a ton of damage. AI ghost system. Right, so this is where things get kind of funny. The AI ghost system I tried out in the beta, but basically I worked out that what the AI would do is it would use the same moves as the player it's replicating. It would use the same moves in a certain combination, right? Like they're flowcharting. And if that didn't work, they'll try the same moves in a different order. So that's a problem. Don't know how they can fix that, but that's just flowcharting. Also, the AI ghost system needs some tweaks for when it's far away. There was a point where I was just using lasers with Kazuya against the ghost and it just didn't know what to do. It would whiff from really far away. That was a problem. If you stood like mid-range, the ghost would just like occasionally jab or down forward 1. And you could just whiff punish. That's where the problems really lie. But to be fair, when we saw Mishima Star going against his ghost, we didn't get to do that. He was actually playing against his ghost, and the ghost AI was actively learning as he played against it, picking up his habits. So maybe it's too early to judge, and when the game fully releases, the AI ghost system will be more sophisticated. I do hope that is the case, because I have high hopes for the AI ghost system. I think it would be really cool to be able to learn ways different opponents are playing. like if you go against an opponent very often or your friends. I think it's a really cool concept, and it sort of adds something for the community to use as like, hey, I beat your ghost. Hey, I beat your ghost back now. Oh, now I've gotten better and you can't beat my ghost anymore. I think that's really cool. So I'm actually hopeful about the AI ghost system. I hope it gets tweaked and is more sophisticated at launch. But yeah, it does need some changes and it needs to be improved quite significantly at the stage it is right now. Connection problems, but only with people with bad PCs. I noticed like you get basically uncontrollable lag if you play against somebody with a bad PC, even worse than Tekken 7 in my opinion. The netcode was very good in general, but people that had bad PCs made the game lag like very badly. So I think a way this could be resolved is maybe have more options to lower graphic settings in the menu, because a lot of people that play Tekken 7 don't have the best PCs anyway. So if they want to move to Tekken 8, it's not really reasonable to expect them to buy a whole new PC with better specs just to play Tekken 8, considering we played Tekken 7 for like 7 years or whatever. So maybe just have more options to lower the graphics settings to help with that issue. The last thing I want to talk about in the negative section is the lounge. There was bad lounge lag if the servers got pretty packed. You'd see FPS drop to about 20 FPS. And there was also a problem with some players rendering in and some players not. This in particular was a big problem in the cabinets. So if a player hadn't rendered in, but they were sat on a cabinet and you and your friend wanted to play against each other, you would sit on the cabinet in the place where the player was that hadn't rendered in, go into the warm-up section, and you just wouldn't get matched. So I think they need to fix that. That was a big problem. It was a big problem in group cabinets as well. So yeah, that was a problem. The number of cabinets was too small. I think there needs to be more cabinets, considering this was a beta, a closed beta, and the cabinets were full basically all the time. There needs to be more cabinets when the full game releases, more servers as well. Last but not least, quick match and lobby should have an option to infinite rematch. Probably this will be the case at launch, but it was like this in the beta, so it's in this list. Right, so that brings us to my general thoughts. The game is already in a really good state in my opinion. The customization, the visuals in general, and more importantly, the gameplay is actually really fun, which is the most important factor in any game. Gameplay is king, right? It's much better than Tekken 7, that's for sure, although we all love Tekken 7, we still play it, even with the online in the state that it is. But it's looking really good so far. Hope the AI ghost system gets fixed. I think it's a really cool and interesting thing to add in the game. So I hope that gets fixed. A few balancing problems and bugs, which with a few tweaks could make the game a 10 out of 10 for me. But in general, Tekken 8 so far is a big win for fighting games. So that's going to wrap up the video. Hope you enjoyed and you made it this far. As of recording, it's now 41 minutes, so it's a bit of a lengthy video, but I wanted to cover everything in depth and make it as thorough as possible without being too boring. So if you made it this far, really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.